Alrighty, I think we should be live here. Happy Crusader Day. Hope you're wearing your spirit shirt, and if you're not, get it on. No, I'm just kidding. Let's go ahead and pray and we'll begin. Lord, we love you and thank you for the day you've given to us. Pray that you'd help us as we move through our lesson today. Give me wisdom, give these students clarity as they listen, and help us to learn a lot. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, let's take a look at the homework from last night, page 114. Page 114, sharpening skills. Number 1, 9 hectometers to meters should be 900. Number 2, 1.3 feet to inches should be 15.6, large to small, multiply, so 15.6 inches. Number 3, 8.72 centimeters to millimeters. You're moving over to the right once, so move your decimal once, 87.2. Number 4, 92 feet equals, again, you're going from small to large, so in this case, you're going to divide, and 92 feet divided by 3 should be 30 2/3 yard. 30 2/3 yard. Number 5, going from large to small, multiply 1/2 mile times 5,280, you get 2,640 feet. Number 6, you're going from meters to decimeters, so you're actually going to move your decimal to the right once. Remember, M is where the U is, and you're moving over to the D. So that should be 115 decimeters. Number 7, 21 feet is equal to 252 inches. And number 8, 5 miles equals 8,800 yards. Again, you're taking 1,760 and multiplying because you're going from large to small. So remember, large to small, multiply, small to large, divide, okay? And that'll help you. Completing the chart, this is with sales, rate of commission, and commission. Number 9 is $1,750. Number 10 is $15,000. Number 11 is 2.5%. You're dividing those there, 1,100 over 44,000. Number 12 is $2,221.92. Again, multiplying there, the rate of commission, which is 24%, turns into 0.24 times 9,258. So I hope you got all those. I hope those were well. If you have any questions over that homework, again, email Mrs. Morrison, email myself, and we'll set up a conversation so we can go over that and make sure that you know exactly what or how to work out those problems. All right, this time I'd like to review some of our concept cards. So we've been studying over some of these, and so I'd like to go over them. I know that you are just enjoying these cards, but they're good for our memory. Okay, so pay attention as I take these cards. Make sure you're looking, and could be prefixes. I think we're starting with prefixes, and then we're getting into our measurements. Okay, so you shout out the answer, and hopefully it matches mine, and hopefully I get it right looking at the answer. Are you ready? And we begin. 1/1000th, 10, 100, 1/10, 1/100th, 1,000. How did you do on those prefixes? There are 6 prefixes. You need to know all of them, starting from the left side. If you'll remember, King Henry dared you to drink chocolate milk. So you can memorize it that way, but also to know what it represents is very important as well, okay? So keep on that and make sure you're familiar with those. We're going to get into some of these measurements. I'm going to mix these up a little bit, and let's see how you do with the measurements as well as the prefixes. Let's see how well you do, okay? So, and we begin. 5,280 feet. 36 inches. 3. 12. 10. 100. 1,000. 1,000. 100. 10, 1,760. How'd you do? Do we need to do that again? Remember, if you're not familiar with these, go ahead and get flashcards made, okay? Make some flashcards. Let's go quickly, and we begin. 10, 12, 3, 36, 5,280, 1,760. Are you beating me? Maybe your parents will give you candy if you beat Mr. McDonald, okay? If they won't, I'm sorry. You just take some brag points, okay? Here we go. 10. 100. 1,000. 1,000. And 100. Good. All right, be familiar with those. Make flashcards if you need to, but make sure you're getting those down. Prefixes will really help you out to know how many of each are in there. If we were in the classroom at this time, we take speed test 17. I just want to remind you to have your proctor administer speed test 17 some point today. You will have 2 minutes to complete that speed test. Once you have completed it, please send a picture directly to Mrs. Morrison, and she'll get those graded and back to you. So make sure that's speed test 17. We did 16 2 days ago, and now we're on speed test 17. All right, I want to review. I said it earlier, but I'd like you to say our sentence with us that helps us with converting metric measurements. Okay, are you ready? King Henry dared you to drink chocolate milk. And that labeling looks like this. King Henry dared you to drink chocolate milk. Okay, so make sure that you are familiar with those. We are going to utilize these as we go through today in some of our converting of different measures, not necessarily measurements of length, but today we're going to be looking at measurements of capacity. So we'll differentiate those two here in just a moment. I want you to open up your textbooks to page 114. Page 114, that's where your homework was, page 114. Lesson 49, 6.5 is measures of capacity. Measures of capacity. And the definition of capacity I put up here is basically room for things, okay? How much room is there for stuff? And that's kind of the idea of capacity. We're going to get into some specific measures of capacity. I do want to show you kind of two separate ones that we're going to be describing. The first is the measure of capacity in the English measurement, the English measurement, okay? And I've kind of written this separation of capacity. There are two areas of capacity we're going to be talking about. There's liquid measure, and then there's dry measure, okay? Liquid measure and dry measure. That's measuring something that is in liquid form, okay? In the English measurement system, the measurement for liquid, the standard is fluid ounce, and everything else is based on the fluid ounce. They are listed for you there, the pint, the cups, the quart, the gallons, the tablespoons, the teaspoons. They can all be in measurement of the fluid ounce. So the fluid ounce is really our standard of measurement for the English liquid measure. The standard of measurement for the metric is the liter. Now, let's go back to English, or let's go back to the measurements for length. Do you remember what the standard is for the length for the English measure? We described the foot or the yard specifically, and then the foot and the inch would be byproducts of that. The yard was our standard measurement. What about the metric system or the metric system? The meter. Good, the meter was the other one. So here we're dealing with the fluid ounce, and we're dealing with the liter, okay? For instance, this is my water bottle that I take with me pretty much to every class, and on the front you may be able to see there it says 25 ounce. If I fill it up to that line, that means I have 25 fluid ounces. Well, if I wanted to represent that in liters, similar to how we represent Coca-Cola bottles. Often if you buy a 2 liter of Coke, you're dealing with metric capacity. If you talk, I bought 128 ounces of milk, you're going to deal with fluid ounces, which is the English system of capacity. So that's the difference that we're dealing with, is basically two different measurements of capacity. I've got here a chart that will help us out dealing with measures of capacity. Again, this is for the English side that we're talking about here, but notice this. 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. 1 pint equals 2 cups. 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. 1 pint equals 16 fluid ounces. Notice the pint here. If a pint is equal to 16 fluid ounces, then a pint is equal to 2 of these. So there's 1 8-ounce. If we had another one, it would equal this pint here. That's just the separation. Notice they give us a long equal one to help us out. 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. You're probably familiar with that. But that's also equal to 8 pints. because 1 quart equals 2 pints. So if there's 4 quarts times 2 is 8. 8 pints equals 16 cups because 1 pint equals 2 cups. So 8 times 2 is 16. And 16 cups equals 128 fluid ounces because 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. And so 16 times 8 is 128 fluid ounces. A cook often uses measures of capacity. 1 tablespoon equals 3 teaspoons. Excuse me. 1 tablespoon equals 3 teaspoons. And if you've ever done anything in the kitchen, you've probably seen a lot of this. Or if you have gone through this class at all in math in elementary, you probably saw several of these as well. So those are our measures of capacity. Let's say those together one time through and we begin. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. Say it with me. 1 quart equals 2 pints. 1 pint equals 2 cups. 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. 1 pint equals 16 fluid ounces. 1 tablespoon equals 3 tablespoons. You want to say this one? I know some of you are about to say that. Let's say it together. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts equals 8 pints equals 16 cups equals 128 fluid ounces. All right, good job there. And that is our measure of capacity for our English system. And that will help us out pretty much in understanding those English measures that we are going to be discussing throughout the course of today. So let's try to drill a couple of those. I know we just saw them, but let's see how much you know. Let's drill a few times through and we begin. Some of the ones I didn't introduce to you, though, I'm sorry, is our dry measure. Notice our dry measure here. Dry measure is many of the similar measurements to the liquid measure, except in the English system, you're going to see bushels and pecks for the dry. And that is, you'll read here in just a moment, more of a measurement of grain, fruits, vegetables, etc. In the metric system, they use the same for dry measures as they do for liquid measures. So keep that in mind as we're going through. But notice the yellow box at the bottom of page 114. 4 pecks equals 1 bushel. 8 quarts equals 1 peck. I had to show that to you because I'm about to pull it up on a card. So here we go, and we begin. 4, 8, 16. Sorry. 8, 4, 2. Very good. And if I can reach over here and get the other one, and we'll pull that one up. 3. Oh, I gave you the answer. This is not a good day for Mr. McDonald class. All right, here we go. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to say them out loud, okay? Kind of like we did with the chart, but we'll say them on these cards. Are you ready? And we begin. 1 tablespoon equals 3 teaspoons. 1 pint equals 2 cups. 1 quart equals 2 pints. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. 1 pint equals 16 fluid ounces. 1 peck equals 8 quarts. 1 bushel equals 4 pecks. All right, I know I've been teaching you for 4 days now. You know that if you don't know those, I'm going to tell you to make flashcards. Make sure you make some flashcards for those if you don't know them, okay? They'll really help you out. You do want to know those on page 114. Learn those English liquid measures and those English dry measures. Now look at page 115 up at the top. We have the metric measures of capacity. Now the metric measures of capacity are somewhat easier because you already know them all because they're just prefixes. If you understood the prefixes with meters, you're going to understand the prefixes with capacity because it's the same thing except it's liters. So instead of the U being meters, the U is now liters. But the process is the same of conversion and everything. Notice the units of capacity here. We've got 1 liter equals 10 deciliters. 1 liter equals 100 centiliters. 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters. Same thing except the other time we did meters. 10 liters equals 1 deciliter. 100 liters equals 1 hectoliter. 1,000 liters equals 1 kiloliter, okay? Notice some of the comparisons in the English metric system, okay? 500 of these milliliters is equal to 1 pint, so that kind of helps you out. Notice this, a liter holds slightly more than a quart. So which one's larger, a liter or a quart? Well, it's a liter. A liter is slightly larger than a quart, which means 4 liters is slightly larger than 4 quarts, which is a gallon. And a gallon is about, there's your answer, 3 3/4 liters. Okay, so again, these are measurements of capacity, and they are either in the English system or they are measurements of capacity in the metric system. So really what we need to be able to do, that was a long explanation for us to be able to do some examples of how to convert. That's what we want to do. I think you understand the premise of measurements. Now we just want to be able to convert measurements. So let's look at a few examples and see how you'll do on these. First of all, I have 14 quarts equals how many gallons? Now, I want to review two things with the English measure system. Number one, it's kind of a two-step process, if you will, but you need to figure out if it's going from large to small or small to large. In this case, quarts is smaller than gallons, so you are actually going from something smaller to something larger. So if that's the case, you're going from small to large, so you're going to do what? You're going to divide. Very good. And we are going to divide by what? Well, there are 4 quarts, and a gallon is our conversion factor, so we're going to divide 14 divided by 4. 2 goes into 14 7 times, 2 goes into 4 2 times, and 7 divided by 2 is 3 1/2. So 14 quarts is equivalent to 3 1/2 gallons. Does that make sense? And so going from and converting in our English measurement, we need to find out if it's smaller to larger or larger to smaller. And then number 2, we just need to know our conversion factor, which in this case was 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. Now, in example B that you see here, this is the metric system. You know it's the metric system because of the L. The L stands for liters. We've been doing meters, now we're doing liters. And so, if we're doing liters, and it's the metric system, we can use the metric system statement that we memorized. Say it along with me if you would, and we begin. King Henry, oh, and I should put an A here. Sorry about that. You probably corrected me at the beginning of the video when we did that, didn't you? You knew it. You knew it. That's why I love students in the room, because they'll raise their hand and say, hey, I think that's supposed to be a DA, and I'll change it. But I got it this time, okay? King Henry dared you to drink chocolate milk. One more time. King Henry dared you to drink chocolate milk. And so that's important for us to memorize that, and we're going to use this to convert our metric system. Are you ready? So, we're going from 5 liters to centiliters. Remember, liters, L, just like the M yesterday, we start right here under U, and we're going to centi. So we're going all the way over here, which is 1, 2. So we're going to move the decimal 2 places to the right. So there are 2 steps. And those 2 steps are to the right. So we take our number 5, decimals right here, we move it 2 places to the right, annex some zeros, and we have 500 centiliters, and we are done. Just like we did yesterday with meters. Same exact thing, same exact process. Let's try this over here. This is an English measurement. We're going from teaspoons to tablespoons. Okay, now, you have to think in your mind which one is larger. By the way, this is example 6.5 on page 115. In your mind, you have to know, okay, teaspoon is smaller, and you may not have that memorized. That's why you need to make flashcards. Got it? All right, good. Going from smaller to larger, and because you're going from small to large, you're going to divide. Well, what are we going to divide by? Well, in this case, we're going to divide by 3, because there are 3 teaspoons in 1 tablespoon. So, I'm going from small to large, so I'm going to divide 20 by 3. That does not go in there evenly, but it does go in there 6 times. 3 goes into 26 times. That's 18 with 2 left over. And so I've got a 2 over my denominator of 3. So my final answer is 6 2/3 tablespoon. And does it make sense? It does, because if I'm going from smaller to larger, I should have a smaller answer in the end because I divided. And in fact, I do. Does that make sense? Okay, there's one more, and this is still in example 6.5. It says convert 6 centiliters to liters, okay? Well, let's go back over here and try to discuss what we were doing over here. We're starting at centiliters, and we're going to liters. So liters is the unit, so we're going to go right here. So we're going to go 1, 2, and that's 2 steps to the left. Very good. So we're going to put 2 steps left. We're going to bring our 6 down, and the decimal's here, so we're going to go 2 to the left. Annex a 0, we get 0.06 liters. And by the way, This is the same process we've been doing even with the English. Because centiliters is smaller, you're going from something smaller than liters, you're going from something smaller to something larger, so you divide. And we're dividing by powers of 10. Well, this is 10, this is 10. 10 times 10 is 100. What is 6 divided by 100? It's 0.06. So we're doing the same thing. We're just, because it's powers of 10, we can do it more quickly with King Henry dared you to drink chocolate milk. Okay, it helps us out a little bit to kind of expedite or quicken the process a little bit. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can just get to practicing this. This is now a procedure we've got. We're going to use our yellow boxes. Really, our yellow box on page 114 is going to help us out. And then after that yellow box, what's really going to help us out is this up here, okay? And so go ahead if you need to on your paper and write down that King Henry dared you to drink chocolate milk. And then we're going to get some examples going from this here. I'm going to go ahead and erase all of this so we have a clean board to use. And we're going to get going starting with number 1. I am on page 115 and we are doing practice problems 1 through 20 really. And it says convert these measures and problems 1 through 20. So let's get to converting. Let's start with number 1. I'm going to do, I believe, 10 of them with you. And then I'm going to leave you to do 11 through 20 and then we'll go over those. Look at number 1. Number 1 says 6 quarts equals how many gallons? Okay, well the first thing we have to do is this English system or is it metric? And we know it's English, so we need to find out small to large or large to small. Well, this is smaller, this is larger, so we're going from something small to something larger, so we divide. That's exactly correct. And what do we divide by? What's our conversion factor? It is 4 because there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. So 6 divided by 4, reduce it. 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 4 2. 2 goes into 3, 1 1/2 times. There's your answer, 1 1/2 gallon. Did you get number 1? I hope you did. I hope you're following along. Number 2. Number 2 says 3 liters equals how many centiliters? 3 liters equals how many centiliters? Okay, we've done one similar to this. Is this the English system or the metric? It is the metric, so we're going to use this up here. We're going to start at liters, which is where? Under the U. Very good. So we're going to start here. We're going to centi. 1, 2. So that's 2 to the good. 2 steps right. And if it's 2 steps right, I bring my 3 down. And the decimal's right here. 2 steps to the right. And extra zeros. 300 centiliters for number 2. Hope you're getting these. Let's do number 3 together. 3 says 5 teaspoons equals how many? Let me make sure I get that right. I'm sorry, tablespoons. Now, is this English or metric system? It's English, so we're not going to use this because there's no prefixes. So we're going from teaspoon to tablespoon. Which one's larger? Tablespoon. So we're going from something small to large. We divide. That's exactly correct. How many teaspoons are in a tablespoon? 3. That's our conversion factor. So 5 divided by 3. Well, that's as low as it can get. You can't reduce that anymore. 3 goes into 5 once with 2 left over. So 1 2/3 tablespoon. Making sense? I hope so. I hope it's making sense for you. Let's go to number 4. And we're moving right along, but that's because we're doing well. We understand this. 0.5 kiloliters equals how many liters? Okay, metric or English? It is the metric system because they're prefixes. So we're going to start at kilo, which is over here, and we want to go to liters, which is right here. Okay, so let's count it. Count with me. 1, 2, 3. And that's 3 to the which direction? That's right. 3 steps to the right. So we're going to take 0.5 and we're going to go 3 steps to the right. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Add some zeros. Final answer should be 500 liters for number 4. I hope you don't have any questions so far, but if you do, and that doesn't make sense to you, whichever one it is, go ahead and write it down, write your question and that number, and email it over to me, or email it to Mrs. Morrison and say, I don't understand how you got this final answer on number 2 or number 3. And send as many emails as you need. I can handle the volume, I promise. Let's go to number 5. Are you ready? 93.2 milliliters equals how many deciliters. Okay, we've got 93.2 milliliters equals how many deciliters? So we've got to go all the way to milliliters, M, right here, and they want us to go to D, so we're going to go 1, 2. 2 to the left. So that's 2 steps. 2 steps to the left. And if I'm at 93.2, 2 steps to the left, 1, 2, puts my decimal in front of the 9, and I have 0.932 deciliters. Are you gathering it? Is it making sense? All right, let's move to number 6. 45 cups, by the way, notice the periods at the end of these on the English system, equals how many floral ounces? Okay, well, it's the English system. We know it's not prefix or metric system, so I need to know which one's larger, first of all. And you probably know that it is the cup, because 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. So this one's larger, this one's smaller. If I'm going from large to small, I'm going to multiply. So I'm going to multiply 45 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. Carry a 4. 4 times 8 is 32. Plus 4 is 36. I have lost my chalk. 360 floral. You know, floral refers to flowers. I should be saying fluid. Have I been saying floral the whole time? This is why I need students in the classroom. I don't do well without students in the classroom. Fluid ounces, not floral ounces. Fluid. All right, fluid ounces. Okay, everybody on the same page? Fluid. Don't come in. Don't put on the test floral. Okay, and they say, "Oh, Mr. Don't do floral." When I was at Piggly Wiggly, I had to work the floral department one day. That's not my cup of tea. Okay, no. I need to stock groceries, not water flowers. Okay, anyway, all right, moving on. So number 7. Hopefully these are helping you, and I hope that illustration helped you in some way or some form. All right, 14 3/8 gallon. And there goes my chalk again. Okay, don't worry, I have plenty of chalk. We're not going to stop class because I don't have any chalk, okay? All right, so we're going from gallons to quart. This is the English system. Gallons to quart, large to small, I need to multiply. That's exactly correct. And I'm going to multiply by my conversion factor of 4 quarts in 1 gallon. So I'm going to take 14 3/8, and I need to multiply it by 4 is basically what I'm doing. 8 times 4 is 32, carry 3. 1 times 8 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So that's a 112 plus 30 is 115 over 8. I do need to make that into an improper fraction. And this is times 4 over 1. 4 cancels into 8, 2. So I have 115 over 2. So then I just need to divide 2 into 115. That goes 5 times. Minus 10 is 1. Bring down my 5 here. And then 2 goes into 15 7 times with 1 left over. So I have 57 1/2 quarts. Does that make sense? 57 1/2 quart. Does that make sense for number 7? I hope so. Let's move to number 8. Looks like another English measurement. 15 3/4 pint equals how many quarts? Well, first of all, I need to know which one's larger, the pint or the quart. I'll tell you this, the conversion is 2 pints equals 1 quart. So that means a quart is larger. So that means we're going from smaller to larger. And if we're going from smaller to large, we divide. That's exactly correct. So it's actually going to be 15 3/4 divided by the conversion factor of 2. So let's take this. 4 times 15 is 60 plus 3. So that's 63 over 4 divided by 2, which is 2 over 1. Then I need to invert it to multiply it. So times 1 over 2, which is going to equal 63 over 8. 8 goes into 63 how many times? Well, that's going to go in there, I believe, 7 times. That's 56, which would leave us with 7/8. So 7 7/8 quarts for number 8. Did that make sense? All right, let's do number 9 together. Erase all of these. I hope these are making sense. I'm going to let you do 10 through 20 on your own here in just a few minutes, and double check that you know what you're doing on these. We've got to practice these quite a bit. So let's move to number 9. Number 9 says 3 gallons equals how many fluid ounces? Okay. Well, we know fluid ounces, small, gallons, big, so we know we're going from large to small, so we know we're going to multiply. Here's the problem. We don't know how many fluid ounces are in a gallon. Except that we could use, if you'll remember, 1 gallon equals 128 fluid ounces. But because you don't have that in your book, we're going to take this in a few steps. First, we're going to convert gallons to quarts, okay? You're going from gallons to quarts, you're going to multiply. How many quarts are in a gallon? That's 4. So 3 times 4 is what? 12. So it's actually 12 quarts. And then we want to go from quarts to fluid ounces, but we can't go from quarts from fluid ounces, yet we've got to go to a pint. So how many quarts, or how many pints are in a quart? The answer is 2. So we're going to multiply 12 quarts times 2, which is going to give us 24 pints. Now we can take 24 pints and go into fluid ounces because we know how many fluid ounces are in a pint, and that is 16. So now we're going to multiply this by 16. 4 times 6 is 24, carry 2. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 2 is 14. That's 24. Bring down my 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 1 plus 2 is 3. And I should have 384 fluid ounces. Could I take 3 and multiply it by my 128 ounces? You most certainly could if you knew that. But because it's not in your book, we had to take some extra steps there for number 9. And let's do number 10 together, and then I'll let you loose on your own. Number 10 is 8 1/2 pints equals how many fluid ounces? Well, we just did this over here. From pints to fluid ounces is 16. And we're going from pint, which is larger, to smaller, so we're going to multiply. And we're going to multiply by this conversion factor of 16. So we need to take 8 1/2 times 16. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17. That's 17 over 2 times 16 over 1. Cancel the 2, and that is 8. 7 times 8 is 56. Carry your 5. 1 times 8 is 8, plus 5 is 13. And that is 136 fluid ounces for number 10. All right, what I'd like you to do now is pause it, and I'd like you to work on 11 through 20. And when you're done with 11 through 20, go ahead and push the play button. All right, if you worked on those and you have pushed play, let's go over those answers. Number 11 is 193 hectoliters, and that's because, again, you're moving to the right twice because you're going from K, or once because you're going from K to H. Number 12 should be 3,000 milliliters because you're moving to the right. 1, 2, 3. Look at number 13, going from gallons to quarts, large to small, multiply 16 1/4 times 4, and you should end up with 65 quarts. Number 14, you're going from cups to fluid ounce. From cups to fluid ounce, a cup is larger, so you're going from large to small, so you need to multiply. Well, how many fluid ounces are in 1 cup? Well, if you remember, there's 8, so you're going to multiply by 8. 0.75 times 8 equals 6. So you should have 6 fluid ounces for number 14. Number 15 is a fraction. I'd like to do number 15 with you because sometimes these fractions can get a little bit complicated, so I'd like to do that one with you if I could. Number 15 is 4 1/4 pints. Oh, and there goes the other piece of my chalk. We're just having fun. We just want to get rid of chalk today, I guess. 4 1/4 pint equals how many quarts? Okay. Well, if I'm going from pints to quarts, I know that I am going from something small to large. I'm going to divide. What am I going to divide by? Well, I am going to divide by 2 pints equals 1 quart, so I'm going to divide by 2. So I'm going to take 4 1/4, which turn it improper. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 1 is 17. So that's 17 over 4 divided by 2. I need to convert that to multiply it. Reciprocal is 1/2. So this equals 17 over 8. 8 goes into 17 twice with 1 left over, and that's going to be 2 1/8 quart for number 15. Number 16 is bushel to quart. 7.5 bushels. Which one's larger, a bushel or a quart? A bushel is. That's exactly correct. So you're going from large to small, so you multiply 7 1/2 times. Did you catch it, or was it tricky for you? You do need to convert to pecks first, okay? Now, you're still going to small, so you're still going to multiply 7 1/2 times 4, and that's going to give you 30 pecks. Then you're going to take that 30 pecks and multiply it by 8 quarts, and that will give you your 240 quarts, okay? So hopefully you got number 16. It was a little tricky there. Number 17, 7.2 liters equals how many hectoliters? Okay, you're going from liters in the middle, 1, 2 to the left, so move your decimal place 2 to the left. You should have 0.072 for number 17. Number 18, 17 quarts equals how many pecks? Well, which one's larger, a quart or a peck? A peck is, that's exactly correct. And so because a peck is bigger than a quart, you're going from small to large, so you're going to divide 17 by what? 8. That's right, 8 quarts in one peck for number 18. Number 19, you have 3 1/2 quart to gallon. Which one's larger, gallon or a quart? A gallon, that's right. So you're going from something small to something large. You divide, that's right. So what are you going to divide by? You're going to divide by 4. So 7/2 divided by 4. So it looks like this. 7/2 divided by 4. And that's 7/2 times 1/4, which equals 7/8. So it's actually 7/8 gallons for number 19. And number 20, you're going from fluid ounces to pint. You're going from something small to large, so you're going to divide. And what is 192 divided? What's our conversion factor? How many fluid ounces are in 1 pint? Do you remember? 16. Make flashcards if you don't know these. 16. And 192 divided by 16 is 12 pints. 12 pints. If you have any questions over those, I know I didn't work all of them out up on the board, but if you have any questions about the explanation or about the workout of those, please send me an email. We'll set up a Zoom call or a phone call, something to go over those. I want you to flip to page 116, and we're going to work on as many problem solving as we can get in the remainder of our time together on numbers 1 through 8. So let me erase my board so that we can make sure we have plenty of space to work here. We're going to keep that on the top because we may need it if we need to convert anything, okay? So let's look at number 1. How many fluid ounces of water should be added to a 16-ounce can of concentrated orange juice to make 1/2 gallon of orange juice? Okay, so this is a loaded question, but let's take what they want. First of all, they want to know how many fluid ounces. We need to go ahead and make sure everything is in fluid ounces. So let's turn 1/2 gallon into fluid ounces, okay? We can do that, but we're going to have to go by way of quarts and pints unless you know how many fluid ounces are in a gallon. I would suggest going ahead and memorizing that, that there are 128 fluid ounces in a gallon. Because if I did that, and I wanted to do 1/2 gallon equals how many fluid ounces, well, I'm going from large to small, so I'm going to multiply. What's my conversion factor? I'm going to multiply times 128 because that's how many fluid ounces are in a gallon. So 1/2 times 128, 2 cancels, and 2 goes into 12 6 times, and 2 goes into 8 4. So there's actually 64 fluid ounces in 1/2 gallon. Now, notice what they said. They said, how many fluid ounces of water should be added to 16 ounces to make 64 ounces? So you already have 16 ounces of concentrated orange juice. So how much water do you need to add to that to make 64? Well, you got to subtract. So 64 minus 16. 14 minus 6 is 8. 5 minus 1 is 4. 48 fluid ounces of H2O is your final answer there. Number 2. Tyler told his dad he could put 17 kiloliters of gasoline in the family car. Is this possible? Woo! Remember, what is 1 kiloliter? It's 1,000 liters. Remember, a liter is just slightly larger than a gallon. And so if, a quart, excuse me, and so that would be a lot of gasoline. So we know it's not possible. What unit did Tyler probably mean? Just take the kilo off. He probably meant liters. He probably meant liters. So number 2, no, it is not possible unless, I mean, if you kept putting it in there, it wouldn't fit. It would just start flowing out. You ever seen anybody at the gas pump? They weren't keeping tune into what they were doing, and it was just overflowing. I've never seen it. I see commercials about it, but I've never seen it happen. Number 3, Mr. Jenkins could travel 312 kilometers on 16 liters of gasoline. How many kilometers can he travel on 20 liters of gasoline? We've done several of these problems, or similar problems anyway, to this. We need to set up a ratio for our understanding. So let's do that for number 3. Let's set up a ratio that says 312 kilometers on 16, we can just put L there, 16 liters. And that is, how many kilometers can you travel on 20 liters? So let's put 20 liters on the bottom, and we're trying to figure out this. So we need to know what times 16 equals 20, so we can multiply the same thing by 312. So, or you could actually set up an equation, 16x equals 312 times 20, and then divide by 16. So, we're going to divide 20 by 16. 2 goes into 10, 4. 4 goes into 25 times, 4 goes into 16 4 times. So 5/4 is the fraction I need to now multiply by 312. So let's multiply that by 312 over 1. And let's see if that cancels. 4 goes in there once. 4 goes into 31 7 times. Minus 28, that leaves me with 32. 4 goes into 32, 8. 8 times 5 is 40, carry a 4. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 4 is 39. So I actually have 390 kilometers. And does it make sense? 16 increased to 20, 312 increased to 390. That is, should be pretty accurate on number 3. Number 4, Logan's wading pool. Wading is kind of like it's just a pool you kind of, you just wade in. You just kind of hang out there. Okay, it's not, anyway. Holds 93.5 liters of water. How many liters less than a kiloliter of water does it hold? Well, if I know what that is, how many liters is a kiloliter? It's 1,000, that's right. So all I need to do is take 1,000 liters and subtract 93.5 liters from that. So 10 minus 5 is 5, 9 minus 3 is 6, 9 minus 9 is 0, bring down my 9, it is 906.5 liters, and I should say less than a kiloliter. Number 5, which contains more fluid ounces, a liter container or a quart container? And the answer for that is a liter, because as we spoke about earlier in the lesson, as well as just a few moments ago, a liter is slightly larger than 1 quart. So a liter would actually, on number 5, a liter would hold more. And there's no work out there, just knowledge base for number 5. Let's look at number 6. Brooke bought a bottle of apple juice containing 96 fluid ounces. How many cups of juice did she buy? So they just want us to convert 96 fluid ounces to cups. Notice the periods at the end of the English measurements. Well, first of all, how many cups are in, how many fluid ounces are in a cup? 8. And that means fluid ounces is smaller, so I'm going from smaller to large, so I divide. So I'm going to divide 96 by 8. 8 goes into 9 once with 1 left over. 8 goes into 16 twice. So my answer comes out pretty evenly on number 6 to 12 cups. All right, let's come back over here, and we are finishing up with our last 2. I hope these are making sense to you. Our last 2 here, number 7. A quart of milk cost $1.19. A gallon of milk at the same store costs $3.17. Find the savings to buy 2-gallon jugs of milk over buying the same amount in quart containers. Okay, now, instantaneously you may think, okay, it's asking about 2 gallons, but listen, you're going to save just as much money buying 2 gallons versus buying 8 quarts as you will 1 gallon versus 4 quarts. So don't take the time to find out what it is for 2 gallons, just take the time to find out what it is for 1 gallon. So it tells us a quart of milk costs $1.19. Well, how many quarts are in a gallon? That's right, 4. So let me multiply this by 4. 9 times 4 is 36, carry a 3. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7. 1 times 4, so it's $4.76 is what it would cost me. Is what it would cost me to buy 1 gallon. And they said for a gallon, that's in 4 quarts, and for 1 gallon it's $3.17. So let's take this, $4.76 minus $3.17. 16 minus 7 is 9. Borrow. 6 minus 1 is 5. 4 minus 3 is 1. So it's $1.59 for 1 gallon. Now the question did ask for 2, so let's double that. 1.59 times 2. 9 times 2 is 18, carry a 1. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11, carry a 1. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3. It is $3.18 for 2 gallons. And finally, I know you heard the bell. I started a little bit late, so that's why I'm going to continue here for number 8. Jordan drew a line segment that was 8.3 centimeters. Isaiah's line segment was 216 millimeters. Draw a line segment representing the difference between the 2 line segments. Well, all I have is a centimeter, so we need to convert everything to centimeters. I don't really have millimeters here. I have centimeters. Well, I guess I could get a millimeter, but let's do centimeters. So I need to convert 216 millimeters to centimeters. So I'm going to start here with M, and I'm going to move over to centi left. So I'm going to move decimal over, so that means I'm going to have 21.6 centimeters. And they want me to draw a line for the difference. So I need to take 21.6 and subtract the other line, which was 8.3 centimeters. 6 minus 3 is 3. 11 minus 8 is 3. I have 13.3 centimeters is the difference. So now I actually need to take my centimeter ruler and I need to draw a line that is 13.3. So I'm going to go all the way over to 13, which is about right there. And then less than halfway in, there is my line segment that is about 13.3 centimeters. So that was fun. I hope you had a great lesson today. We're going to go ahead and wrap up by assigning your homework, sharpening skills numbers 1 through 26 on page 116. Go ahead and finish those for homework, and then tomorrow we will go over those. And I hope you have a great academic day. It was good to be with you today, and we'll see you later.